Hello, I'm Annalouise, and today I'm going to be talking about belonging and whether we feel truly at home and at ease wherever we are, and also a little bit of when we notice we come out of a sense of belonging, when we come back into it, and how we may be able to cultivate a greater sense of belonging more of the time. If you were to rate on a scale of 0 to 10 your general sense of belonging in your life at this moment, what do you think it might be? Where 10 being, oh yeah, I feel I completely belong, have that real sense of feeling at home and at ease, or not really feeling quite isolated and separated and disconnected. Yeah, just curious to hear a number from you. And also to bring consciousness of how you think that number might have changed through your life. If you sort of take a little scan back from when you were smaller, has there been a change and has it fluctuated? Like if you think when we were babies, there probably wasn't any question about belonging, or little question about belonging. And then perhaps in moments of our lives, we felt a greater sense of separation, and that felt more like we didn't belong. And my sense is the truth is we all truly belong here in every moment, otherwise we wouldn't be here, right? But the layers that we've cast on top of ourselves mean that often that doesn't feel like our truth. So we can feel isolated, we can feel ashamed, we can feel shy, we can feel withdrawn, we can feel like we're the odd one out in some way. And there are a host of reasons why we might have adopted some of those feelings. And I think in a way it really doesn't matter where it comes from, because my sense is that even when we might pick a moment that might be relevant, actually the cause and effect goes so much beyond what we could ever pinpoint. But what does feel important to me is being able to bring ourselves back into a greater sense of belonging. Without a sense of belonging, my experience is that I really find that I'm less present. I'm less able to be responsive in the moment. And I'm running so many projections in my system that authentic connection and vulnerability is really challenging. And one of the things that feeling a sense of not belonging does, I think it takes away our ability to receive the gifts that are present now. It takes away our ability to receive from others, to receive their love, to receive their gifts, and also to receive the wonders of this earth, to receive the support of the earth, the support of nature, to even be able to truly receive our food. If we're not feeling like we're belonging on earth and we're not connected to the elements, then when we take food in, it almost doesn't feel, my experience is it almost doesn't feel like we're worthy to receive it. And I feel I can speak from a lot of personal experience here. I think this is a lot of my life where I felt as though I've been quite separate and not really from this planet, let alone really connected to the people around me in many ways. And it's, as a result, I feel like I can feel directly the pain of that, the heartbreak and the pain. And I can also see how it creates a virtuous circle of suffering. You know, it can create, as I said, a whole load of projections. It can create jealousy or anger, or it can create shyness, and it can create lack of confidence, and of course one thing leads to the other, right? It's hard to say what's cause and effect, but it has a whole load of repercussions in the way we set up our whole system. So it feels like such a precious territory to invite ourselves in to explore. And I'm also curious, if you are able at this moment to close your eyes, obviously if you're driving, don't close your eyes. If you are able to close your eyes and just tune in, it's like, where or who with do you feel like you most belong? It could be in nature, and it doesn't have to be present time if nothing comes. It could be something in the past. And allow yourself to feel what's there for you when you feel a greater sense of belonging on that occasion, in that environment. What shifts in your system? Where is your awareness? Do you notice perhaps that you're less focused on self-centered, you're more perhaps focused on the outside world? Or just see what you notice. See how your heart feels. Take a scan around the scene, notice what draws your attention, what you feel like you resonate with more. And then when you're ready, open your eyes. So hopefully you were able to connect with that. And if you weren't, that's totally fine too. If you really feel that you can't even connect into a sense of belonging, please don't make that wrong. And then increase a sense of not belonging by not being able to participate in some way in my invitation. All is perfect. It's all information just to receive and to open to. So there's that one side of it, that if we were able to access the exercise, we can feel what we feel like when we have a greater sense of belonging. We're able to open to that in more occasions, even if our normal triggers for belonging aren't present. We can perhaps walk down the street and go, could I invite here a greater sense of belonging in myself? Or in a supermarket, you know, that sense of belonging that I touched into with this, could that just be more present right now? And if it was, how would my experience in this moment be different? Like, how open do I feel? How receptive do I feel? Where's my tension? So that's one side. And then the other side, particularly if it's difficult to access this exercise, but even if it's not, on the occasions where we do feel like we're perhaps the outsider or excluded or isolated, uncomfortable, at dis-ease, I think the habitual reaction for many of us is to withdraw or hide our dis-ease. In order to try and belong more, we sort of almost cover ourselves up more, because the thought of stepping into our vulnerability when we're feeling like we don't belong is potentially terrifying, and certainly could be very uncomfortable. And yet this is, like, I think, like a slight myth. I sense that the times when I'm feeling least like I belong around, let's say, a group of people, the fastest way into belonging is to step right into my vulnerability and to name my discomfort and to be able to really feel perhaps the shyness or the reticence or the intimidation, and rather sort of than hide those feelings away, just to be able to go, oh, wow, yeah, you know, that's really present for me now. And I'm just going to be with it and allow it to be here. Give it a lot of spaciousness, have like a really big awareness around it. And I'm struck over and over when I'm able to name this feeling, you know, when I can step in and say, you know what, I'm feeling a little bit awkward right now. I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm new to this group, or I'm feeling out of my depth, or I'm not quite sure how to navigate this situation. I'm feeling a bit nervous. My experience is that generally it opens the hearts of the people around us, and it really invites them into supporting us in the way that we need to be supported. And then that allows us to receive more fully, and then to feel like we belong. Yeah, so many of our strategies are counterintuitive, and they tend to, you know, we think we're protecting ourselves, but in fact we're just reinforcing the pattern. So I feel that's probably enough for now, just to touch into this area of exploration. It feels like a rich area that's such a beautiful thing to deepen within ourselves, because if we can show up in more belonging every day, we're able to live life more fully, to be able to receive, to be more of ourselves, to be able to give more fully, to feel more satisfied, and yeah, to live this wondrous life as it is, rather than all of the projections that we carry. So I invite you to practice those two different directions, the one that we've just touched upon, about stepping into being able to be more comfortable with our feelings around withdrawal or lack of belonging, and to be able to name them. And also to be able to invite ourselves regularly in a quiet space to get more aware of what it feels like when we truly belong, and to use that as a practice, so that we can draw on it on the moments, day by day, to build our container of belonging. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you feel you know anyone that it might be useful for, that it might serve them in some ways, I'd be really grateful if you could share it. And if you liked it, press like, and you can subscribe to the channel too. And if you want to hear more about my work, go to www.resonating.love. Wishing you a wondrous day and moment, and may your sense of belonging deepen and open, so that you can live this wondrous human life even more fully and joyfully. Thank you for being with me here today and listening to my story on belonging.